welcome back to another video. I am here to finally share with you the color family order of my 120 set of MARKART colored pencils. I am so excited about this. And I know so many of you have been waiting for this. I've kind of gone back and forth with these and swatched them and re-swatched them. And I just wanted it to be exactly the way that I wanted it before I shared it with all of you. So if you have your 120 set of MARKART colored pencils and you want to get them in color family order, I know quite a few of you were waiting. Go ahead and grab those and we will do it together. If you would like to pick up this customized swatch chart, you can grab this out of my Etsy shop. It will be available there, and it already has all of the names and the numbers already filled in the color family order that I've come up with. After I finish swatching out all of the colors in color family order, I am also going to take a photograph of this, and I will make that available in my Etsy shop as well for those of you that don't enjoy swatching or can't swatch for some reason. And maybe you would just rather spend your time coloring and not swatching your colored pencils. I do want to make a disclaimer that it is very difficult when taking a photograph to mimic or get an exact copy of the exact color that is going to come out of your pencil. I've done it for the 120 set of Brute Fooner and the 120 set of Original Starjoys. I've had quite a few of you purchase the previous ones that I've shared where I've taken a photograph and made it available in my Etsy shop, and I've had really positive feedback, and you've said that it has really helped you out quite a lot. So I will continue to share my color family order and those swatch charts in my Etsy store for this set and any set that I do in the future. If you check the description box down below, you will find links down there for my Facebook group, my Etsy shop, my email list, as well as my Patreon if you would like to support me there. So the first thing I want to share with you is what they look like in the case after they've been put in color family order, and I think they look really beautiful. So here on the first slot, I started with whites like I always do, and I moved into the yellows. Here we have sort of a mustardy yellow type color. And originally I think it was in the browns, and I kind of went back and forth with this one, and I ended up moving it over here because it had a lot more yellow in it. And then I've got my oranges, and then I get into the peachy tones, which brings us over here into the reds, and then into the pinks. And then we've got our purples and our purpley pinks or pinky purples. And then I'm going to flip over here, and this is how I always put them in the case. I always start here, go here, and then I go straight across and back down again. And then I come over here and go this way. So I kind of just do sort of like a zigzag type of thing when I put them into the case. So then we come over here, we've got a really pretty mauve-y type purple. We've got some brighter purples in here, and then some darker purples as we get into the blues, and then we start to lighten up with the blues, and then we have our teals. And then we come over here into our greens. Look at some of these beautiful shades. But some of them don't really look like they are in color family order because we all know that the barrels on the pencils are always going to look different from what you see on the lead of the pencil. We come over here and we've got more of our darker teals as we get into the lighter one. And then we're going to start getting into the greens over here. We've got some olive greens in here, and then a beautiful bright green. And then we're going to come over here, and this is where we start with our beige type color and get into the browns. And this color here, I kind of went back and forth. It really did not have a place. It's a very different color. You'll see that when we swatch these out, but it fit the best right here in this section with these other two colors because they're browns that have a little bit of a mauve tone to them. And then these are our more true browns over here. And then we get into our grays. And then we finish off over here with our grays. And then we come over here, we've got our metallic colors. I would really consider this a bronze color, but they're calling this dark gold. So they have a silver, a gold, and then a dark gold. But if you look, you'll be able to see it on the swatch. I mean, it does kind of look like a dark gold, but it also looks like it could be a bronze. So here we've got our grays, and before we get to the metallics, we are going to finish off with our black. we've got our darkest of grays, and then the black. And the grays are all put together according to their undertones. So you will see when I swatch out the grays that I've got some lighter grays and then darker grays, that I start over again with the lighter grays and then go into the darker grays. And that's because I like to keep them all sorted out by what their undertone is. And I swatch those out quite a few times and go back and forth just to make sure that I've got a really good eye of what the actual undertone is. What I do is I just sit there and I swatch and I re-swatch and I put like two colors together. Then I come back and put another two colors together, and I really look at it and try to figure out which ones have the same undertone before I put them in their final color family order. And I just remembered that when I did my final swatching and switched some things around on the swatch chart, I didn't switch them around in the case. So a couple of these need to be switched around. So after my 020, I should have 025. So I need to take out the 099 and I need to move a couple of these down. After 025, I should have 095, and then the 099 goes in here. Now see what I mean by they don't necessarily look like they are in color family order, because if you look at the barrel of this one, it definitely looks like it should be over here. But like I said, when I put these together, I did them by undertones. And so the undertone in this one is actually the same as this N022. And then the undertone in the 095 is actually the same as the undertone in the 025. And then the same goes over here for the grays. And after I did the final swatching, I had to swap some things around, and I'll show you that on the swatch chart when I show you how I put my pencils into color family order. But this 023 here needs to come out, and it actually has the same undertone as one of the ones over here on this side. So I need to move all of these down. So we have 061 and then 070, and then we should have 068 next, and then 104. Actually, it's not over here, so it would still be over here. But this 023 actually has the same undertone as this 104. And so now they are in a better order. So that's what they look like in their case. I should have fixed that prior to filming, but at least y'all got to see how I put my pencils together when I'm putting them in color family order. Now, I want to share with you, several of you have asked me how I go about putting the pencils in color family order. I actually was cleaning up my office and I threw a few of the sheets, my original swatching sheets, I threw all of those out. But I can explain to you exactly how I do that. I just take a blank sheet of the Spring Hill paper and I put all of the colors. I take like all of the greens and I pull all of them out, and I try to just look at them, and I lay them like all of the olive greens I'll lay together, all of the more true greens I'll lay together, and I'll do that and spread it all out here on my desk. And then I will take those colors after I look at them and try to determine where they would fit according to their undertone. And I will take a blank sheet of Spring Hill paper and I'll just swatch all of those out. Then after I swatch all of them out, I will draw arrows and put numbers. I did share a lot of this in my color order family video when I did the 120 original Starjoys, and I was able to show you all of that much more in depth because I hadn't thrown my swatch sheets out yet. But after I lay them all out, I will do little arrows and, show myself where I need to, like say I swatched out this color on my blank chart and I knew that it needed to be before this one. If it's way over here and the other one's way over here, I'll just draw arrows. And then I come back after I do my arrows and figure that out and show myself which order they should be in. I will come back and I will number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or however many there are. And that's how I know how to lay them down onto the swatch chart according to their undertones and color family. And then after I do that, I print out my 120 swatch chart that I have in my Etsy shop, the blank one, and I lay them all out in the order that I think that they go in. And it looks here like some of them were probably left out, or this one is not finished, because I had a lot of corrections on this one, and you could see all of my arrows going back and forth and showing myself where I needed to move the colors to. I've got little notes over here, move this one to the browns. So there was a whole lot that needed to be fixed. And then I realized that my set was missing the cinnamon or the 025 color. And so I had to contact Amazon. And it had been a little while since I purchased my set, but Amazon made good on that, so it was fine. But you could see that I have all my arrows here, and I even took some of the other colors and I swatched them out to see exactly where they fit in between what. And then after I did this one, then I came over here and I swatched them out again. And so I just go back and forth until I come up with something that is more finalized. So with the MARKART pencils, you only get the numbers on the pencils. You don't get the names. The names are actually written in on the top of the tin. So this is the tin that they come in. And if I pop this tin open, you could see that all of the colors are listed here on the top of the tin. And there was even some mistake or something somewhere. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was able to fix it, whatever it was. But I had to look at the tin or pull the actual color chart up on the Amazon website. They actually have a copy of it on the website. So I was able to use that and go and fill everything in. Then I went and created the customized chart in color family order, or what I thought would be the final order of these pencils, but I had to swatch them out one last time to make sure that they were exactly how I wanted them. After I swatched them all out, like over here, this is what I was showing you in the case. Looking at this one here, this sienna brown, or what is called sienna brown, actually has the same undertone as this yellow brown. And so that was moved over here. And then these two were moved closer down here next to these that have the same undertone. And then over here, I have the ash black, which I noticed had the same undertone or was closer to this concrete gray. This has a lot more brown in it. And this looks like a gray. And so this really needed to be moved down here where these grays are. So this one ended up being moved down here after this color here that is called concrete gray. And then it goes into these grays that I was showing you in here that actually had that mauve type undertone, or they almost look like they had a little bit of red in them. So we've got that smoke gray and then this onyx black. But yeah, this one definitely did not go here with the browns. It definitely needed to be moved down here after the concrete gray. And after I did that, then I went and made those corrections or those changes to come up with the final swatch chart. And this is what we are going to swatch the colors out on today. And then y'all saw me fix those in my case as well. So while I'm swatching, I'm going to make sure that the number on the pencil actually matches up to what I'm swatching. But that is my process on how I put them all into color family order. It is quite a chore. So now we're ready for the fun part of the video. It is time to start swatching all of these out. And if you want to go to my Etsy store and grab this chart, you can. It may make it a little bit easier because I've already got all the numbers and the names already written out, so you'll know exactly where to lay your colors. When I lay my colors down on the swatch chart, I always like to do like 1 layer, 2 layers, and then 3 layers. I like to create sort of like a gradient. So at the top, I start with the darkest, and then as I move down the square, it is going to be lighter. This is the Spring Hill paper that I am swatching on. Y'all know I always swatch on the Spring Hill paper and print out all my charts on this paper. I love this paper and it works the best with my colored pencils. So for the swatch part of the video, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to music. Then after I'm done laying down all of the colors and we see them all come to life on the swatch chart, I will come back and I'll talk about all of the colors and a little bit more about how I came up with the color family order and why the colors are laid out the way that they are. So let's go ahead and start swatching. our colors are all swatched out, and I think that they're beautiful. I love looking at swatch charts with all of the colors in color family order. I don't know how many of you feel that way, but it just brings me so much satisfaction. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about these colors. So there are a few quite different colors that you're not going to get in other budget sets, and I'll go ahead and point those out now. But this color here called orange purple, it definitely does not look like an orange purple to me, but that is a very different color. It's kind of like a mauve-y color, and I see the purple in it. I don't really see the orange in it, but I have it here with this great purple because if you look at them, they both have the same undertone. This is also a very, very pretty color. And then this purple gray is really pretty as well and quite different, as is this gray purple. And I do see the gray in that one. It definitely looks like a gray purple. But as far as these two purples go, there's really not any other purples that go with them, and that's why they are there. They're just very, very different. They just don't have another place, and of course I am not going to put that with the grays because it definitely has more purple in it. We have this gorgeous pastel purple here that is very, very pretty called Oob Purple. And let me see what other colors are quite different. This mushroom gray, that's a really pretty color that's kind of like a beige color. And then some of these grays down here, I think that they are quite different than what you would get in other sets. And I tried to group them, like I said, all by their undertones. And you can see if you look over here, this ash black, this was the one that I moved from over here to over here. You can see that it definitely goes much better here than it did after this dark brown. A lot of the browns are similar to what we get in other sets, and these two browns are very different because I see a lot of like reddish purple in these, and these three here are all grouped by the same undertone. This rosy beige right here, this color just really makes this color here much darker, and these two are beautiful colors. And then I do want to mention, when I was laying down the silver and the gold, they are so soft and creamy. They go down so beautifully. I don't think I've ever laid down another metallic from any other budget set that has been that soft. And they just go down so nicely. And then this smoke gray here, this smoke gray has a lot of that, I don't know, it's just, I think it has a lot of like blue. It's almost like bluish purpley gray. It's very, very different. It's a gorgeous color. And then I think a lot of them are pretty similar to what we get in other budget sets, but we do have some pretty unique colors that you're not going to see in other sets. If we start at the top, I always start with white, and then I grouped all of these together because of their undertone. You could see we've got a lighter one here, and then they just sort of get darker. Then we've got our brighter yellows over here. Those are very, very pretty. Then we've got some orangey yellows over here in this section, and then we've got our raw sienna. And like I said earlier, this one just fit much better here than it did down here with the browns because it did have much more orange in it. And then we've got our two oranges here. So typically in this set, you're going to get two very basic oranges, and they're very close to one another, but this one is definitely much darker. Then I've got some of my peach colors, and then these over here, they're over here because they had more pink in them, or at least I saw more pink or more of a coral type color in these. So I've got them grouped together with my more corally or peachy type tones, and these have more of that corally color in them because they've got a lot more pink in them. So I left these more peachy tones down here and then went into the ones that had more coral in them. Then we come over here and we've got a couple reds. This is a bright, bright, beautiful red, but it looks like it has a little bit of pink in it possibly. It's a very, very pretty color. These two look very close to one another though. And then we've got our very maroon-like reds here, or very dark, dark reds. This one's actually called dark red. And then we've got some pinks here that are very, very pretty. And this one's actually called light coral. These have much more pink in them though. So that is why they're down here. Then we get into our purpley pink, dark purpley pink type colors. We've got this one's called purplish red actually. And then we're getting into our pinks and our purpley pinks here. And then we've got this really pretty mauve color. Like I said, this is very different from what you'd get in another set. And then we have this great purple here, which is a very pretty dark purple. And then over here, I mentioned this one earlier too. We have this purple gray that is different than what you would get in other sets, as well as this one here is a little bit different. And then we've got this gorgeous royal purple. All of our purples in this set, I will say that you do get quite a bit of purples in this set. And that is very different from a lot of budget sets, because in a lot of sets, you don't get a lot of purples to work with. So you've got all of these purpley pinks that have purple in them too. Then you've got these purples over here. You've got a gray purple, and this one is also a grayish purple. And look at this. This one's called purple gray, and then this one's called gray purple. These names, some of these names cracked me up. And then on some of them, we've got gray spelled with an A, and then in other ones, we have the gray spelled with an E. So I was very careful to make sure that I had every gray spelled correctly on this sheet. But look at all the purples that you get. Then we get into our darker tones as we get into our blues. And we get a few blues in this set before we get into our teals. So this set, a lot of other sets, you're going to get a lot more blues than purples. This one, it seems that you get more purples than you do blues. So that is what is unique about this MARKART set. Then we're going to come over here and we've got these like teal type colors. I mean, they still would fall under blue as well, but they are not your true blues. They still have some green in them. And then we're getting into our greens. Look at this gorgeous light green color. I love that color. And then we've got this paracrete green, which is a really pretty green. We've got a minty green here, actually called mint green. And then we've got quite a few greens as we get into our olive greens, all the way down to this really pretty like olivey yellowish green. That's a really pretty color. And then we've got a pear green here. Then we've got mushroom gray. This one is very different. This is more like a beige color. They're calling it gray, but it looks beige to me. And then we've got some coppery colors here. This one's actually called raw umber. And again, I separated these out into undertones over here in the brown section. So we've got our browns with reds down here at the end, our browns with oranges all in this section here. And then we have more of our true browns here. We even have some browns here that have a lot of purple in them, which are very different from what you'd get in another set. And then we've got all of our grays. And again, like I said, the grays are all separated out into undertone by light, medium, and dark. And then we've got our metallics. Well, here we finish out with black, and then we've got our metallics. So we've got two different blacks here. We have a warm black and we have a cool black. So I found that to be very different in this set. And then we've got our metallics. And the way, like I said, the way that these two swatched out the silver and the gold, they were so super soft. But when I got to the darker gold that looks like it has a lot more brown in it, it didn't go down the same way as these two did. But these metallics, they were super soft. Not to say that this one was not soft and didn't go down nicely. These just went down much softer. So this is my color order, and again, I'm going to take a picture of this here, and I'm going to make this available in my Etsy shop as well. So you'll be able to get it like this, already swatched, if you would like that version of it. I will also have it just blank without the swatches, with just the numbers and the names all in place, so you could just swatch your pencils. And I also have this 120 swatch chart available, just completely blank, so you could use it for any colored pencil set that you have that may have a number and a name. That was my color order video, and I hope that y'all enjoyed it. It was a lot of work, and I'm glad that I finally got it done, and I'm glad I was able to make this available to all of you. If you would like to see another set put into color family order, please let me know in the comments below, because I am ready to start working on another set. If you would like to see me color with the MARKART or do a coloring tutorial with the MARKART pencils, please also let me know that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up because it really does help my channel out a lot. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.